What is going on, y'all? This is Pay Me in Dividends, and I am back with another video. Today is November 9th, 2024. Let's do a quick rundown of my portfolio. I'm sitting at $68,961. My holdings have not changed since the past video. I'm still holding 1,500 shares of SPYI from YieldMax and another 435 shares from SPYI from Rex. Now, what I wanted to talk about today is a few stocks going into 2025, and here's the criteria, right? So I really have two criterias: stable share price and a predictable monthly distribution. And the reason why I say a predictable monthly distribution is because some of these high yield ETFs have different monthly distributions depending on the option premiums that are extracted for that given month. And so the dividends will fluctuate month to month, meaning that your income may be unpredictable. For example, an ETF such as SPYI is very unpredictable. They pay different distribution amounts every single month. We can take a look at one right here. We'll go MISTI ETF, and we will take a look at their monthly distributions. Now, however, I do have 1,500 shares of SPYI, and I love it. It's at 175% distribution rate, which is insane. I mean, that's just insane. And if we go down here and look at the monthly dividends, we can see August 4th, it was $4.12. In May, it was $2.50. In June, it was $3. And so you can see how the payments have fluctuated. Now, I'm not complaining at all because this ETF has performed amazing since inception, and it has been paying out very, very big dividends. But the point of this video is I want to look into some ETFs that are a bit more predictable and have more of a stable share price, so that you can really begin to fortify your cash flowing portfolio and have more predictable income while adding some of these, as I like to call, wild cards in the mix as well. But I think you want your baseline to be pretty predictable, especially if you plan on living off of these dividends in the future or using this money as supplemental income to your job and things like that. I think it's just a bit more easy on you and brings a little more peace of mind when you know you have a predictable cash flow coming in. So for me, SPYI right now is my stable, ETF that pays a stable, predictable dividend. So on that note, Rex shares SPYI. I want to start off with FEPI, FEPI. Now, the reason I'm looking at FEPI, although I do not hold any FEPI stock, is because this ETF has been out now for over a year, right? It's been out since October of 2023. And when we hit max, we can see that it has been very stable, right? It's trading at $53.12. And when its inception price was about $51 a share. And so the share price has remained very stable while paying a very consistent dividend. So if we go down here, we can see that it has a distribution rate of 25.20%, right? And this is very, very, very consistent. And so if we go down here to the payouts, the payout history, we can see November of 2023, $1.15. December of 2023, $1.18. The following month, $1.20, $1.19. You can see here that these payments have been very, very consistent. They've remained above $1, and there hasn't been much of a variance as far as the monthly distribution goes. It's, it's not, if we go back here to MSTY, we can see how much of a variance we see from $4 to $2 to $3 to $2 to $1, all the way back to $4 for this last payment. But FEPI has been very, very stable and very, very predictable, which I think is very important when you're trying to build a cash flowing, income producing portfolio. I think that is very, very important. So that's one that I wanted to cover. Another thing while we're here is I wanted to look at the assets under management, right? The market cap for these ETFs. Now for FEPI, they have $420 million in assets, in fund assets. Now, why is this important? The reason this is important is because it means that the fund is liquid. The fund is liquid, meaning that it's a lot easier to trade in and out of. And as the ETF managers, right, Rec Shares, they are incentivized to continue running this fund because there's so much liquidation in this fund. And so they're based off their expense ratio right here, 0.65. This is how much they're making off of the fund assets, right? So they're incentivized to continue operating this fund because they're making money off of it. So if they're making money off of it and we're making money off of it, then it's all good. So you want to see the assets under management to be at a high number, and also to be increasing over time as well. You really don't want this to be a low number. I actually spoke about this on one of my older videos maybe a couple weeks ago when I was looking at Curve ETFs, and their ETFs are nice, and they are on my watch list, and I do have interest in them. The only caveat was the only concern was the low assets under management. And so when an ETF isn't very liquid, that means that the ETF managers aren't really incentivized to continue running that fund, because at the end of the day, they want to make money off of the ETF fund just as much as we do as retail investors, right? So we want to see the assets under management constantly increasing, meaning that more money is being put into this ETF, and so we can keep the party going, so to speak. So that is FEPI. I think this is worth taking a look at. If you're into income investing, I'm sure you've heard of FEPI. I just wanted to do a rundown of one of the ETFs that I think is very important going into 2025. They've been around since October of 2023. Is their inception date? Yep, October 11th of 2023. And so they are going into the new year of 2025, into their third year. And I think it's something that, hopefully they keep on going strong. I think it's worth taking a look at and possibly using as an anchor of your portfolio. So the next one I want to look at is SPYI, SPYI from Neos. So this is another one that has had a very, very stable share price, and they're actually up 7% since September of 2022. This is another one that I think is a very, very high quality income ETF, and can really make as a good anchor for a cash flowing portfolio. Now this one has a lower distribution rate than FEPI. It's at 12%, but it's still very, very good. I mean, you're making 1% a month just for holding this ETF in monthly distribution. So this one is a 12% distribution rate, and we'll take a look at the assets under management very quickly, which is at, let's see where they are. They are at $2 billion. Now, this is why I really like SPYI. They have a lot of money in this fund. There's a lot of people investing in this ETF. It's been out since 2022. As you can see here, August 30th of 2022 is the fund inception. And so there's proof of concept, right? It's been around for a while now. It's been around for over 2 years now. It's going into year 3. And I think this is another one that can really be an anchor to your portfolio. And when we go back to predictable monthly distribution, right? Let's take a look at their distributions. So as you can see, their payouts have been very, very, very consistent. You can look at these numbers right here. This is the pay amount for each month, and you can see that these numbers are very, very consistent. There's not much of a variance. If we go to 2022, you can see 46 cents a share, 47, 46, 48. If we look at 2023 distributions, again, very, very consistent. 48 cents, 47, 46, 48. It doesn't fluctuate much, as you can see. I mean, it may change by 5 to 10 cents, but the variance is not high. It's very predictable. They've paid 12% annual distribution rate consistently since the year of 2022. This is an ETF that going into 2025 can really, really carry your income portfolio and give you that stability that you are looking for. So SPYI and FEPI are my two favorite on my watch list currently going into 2025. Now, I wanted to put SPYT into this as well. This is kind of the wild card right here. And the reason I call it a wild card is, first of all, let's look at the share price. So the share price has been very stable. However, this has only been out since March of this year, March of 2024. So it hasn't even been a year yet that this fund has been out. But thus far, it has performed well, right? The share price has remained very, very stable. If we look at the distribution rate, it has a 20% distribution rate. And when we look at the payouts have been very, very consistent, right? So if we go back to March of earlier this year, 34 cents, 32, 33, 33, 33, 33, 33, 33. It's very consistent. I mean, this fund has been very, very, very consistent. 20% dividend yield. Now, the only concern I have for this fund, and it's not really a concern because this one is a lot newer than FEPI and especially SPYI, but the only concern I have is the assets under management. And for this one, it is at $66 million assets under management. Now, when you compare that to SPYI, who has $2 billion under assets under management, and FEPI, who has 420 million assets under management, compared to SPYT 66 million, it's a slight concern for me. I feel like this one should be growing a lot quicker. I don't know if it's something to do with Defiance, or maybe they just have so many other options that people are going with their other ETFs. But I feel like SPYT is almost a diamond in the rough. I see some people talking about it on YouTube, but it's been very, very consistent with their payouts, a very consistent 20% dividend yield. The share price has remained very, very stable since inception. And so I would really, really, really like to see this number right here increase, especially going into the new year. I think I'd be comfortable putting money into it once it hits at least 100 million in assets. And actually, I did hold a few shares of it at some point. I believe when it first when the fund first came out, I think I bought some and then sold them shortly after maybe 1 or 2 dividend payments. But right now, I don't plan on making a position into this ETF until this hits at least 100 million assets under management. I'd like to see that first until I'm comfortable enough with building a new position into this ETF. But I do think it's worth a look. If you've been on YouTube looking at income funds, I'm sure you've come across it. It's a very, very good ETF thus far. And so I think it is something worth putting on your watch list. And so, yeah, that's pretty much it for today. These are my 2 main ETFs that I would like to build positions in going into 2025 with the possibility of SPYT. But I really like FEPI and I really like SPYI, and I already hold AIPI, which is kind of like FEPI's cousin, I guess you could say, her sister or brother, whatever you want to call it. But AIPI we'll just give this a quick rundown, right? So AIPI, its inception date was sometime this year, June of this year, so it hasn't been out very long, but their assets under management is already over 100 million. And so this is what I'm talking about, right? So this fund is actually newer than SPYT, but has more assets, right? SPYT has 66 million, and AIPI is already over 100 million, right? And it has a 34% distribution rate, and the share price is very stable as well. So this is the reason why I've chosen AIPI as the anchor of my portfolio, and I plan on holding on to these shares and adding into this position as well over time. And I'll probably either add SPYI or SPYT in the future, but we'll see. So I'm gonna cut this video now. I just wanted to talk about a couple funds going into 2025. I think it is important to have a few different ETFs on your watch list, stack some cash until the new year. I feel like the market will probably be a bit volatile, especially after the election just ended. New Year's is around the corner, and then we have the inauguration in the U.S. for the president. So I feel like the next couple months are going to be quite volatile in the market. So I think it's a good time to really just stack some cash, put some money into your buying power, let the market do what it's going to do over the next couple months, and then go into 2025 with some cash in your buying power, ready to build new positions or continue adding to your current positions so that you can continue building up your income and your cash flow. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut the video, y'all. You guys let me know in the comments what you think. Is there any other ETFs you want me to look over? And I will see y'all in the next video.